Alright, welcome back to my YouTube channel, guys. So I'm just gonna get right into this video. Right now I'm on my way to Japan for the very first time ever. And of course the flight was super long and I felt kind of sick because I was not used to traveling alone. But alas, I arrived in Haneda Airport and got my bags and immediately headed over to get my JR pass, but that was not the case. I had to go somewhere else. But yeah, and then I made it over to Shinjuku, and that's where I stayed for the night. I actually rented out a capsule hotel, so that was pretty cool. And apparently I was very thirsty because I just went in on that water bottle. But the next day, I went and stopped by a konbini. I got like a little sandwich, and then I walked around Tokyo for the first time. And then I went into this Club Penguin store. Just kidding, it's not Club Penguin. But yeah, it had a whole bunch of things. But after that, I went and did the first thing that was on my itinerary, which was the Meiji Shrine. And this place was pretty cool because it was like the first dose of Japanese architecture that I got. So yeah, just soaked that all in and really enjoyed the walk around there. Next, I stopped at the Tokyo Skytree and I came across a coin locker, so I was excited to use that. So I went ahead and put my bag in there. And then I walked around the marketplace. I got fruit, which I know is expensive, but it was really good. Got my ticket, went up to the top, and it didn't hit me how crazy packed and how dense Tokyo is until I saw this view. There was like buildings as far as the eye could see. But after seeing the city view, I went down and headed over to Sensoji Temple in like the market area, and that was really cool. Like there's so many foods that you can try here. I went and got soba because that was one of the things that I wanted to try on my list. But yeah, and then I kind of walked back over to Skytree to get my bag, and there was a bunch of food vendors, but I didn't get anything. And then I went and watched the Skytree at night, and yeah, it was a crazy view. The next morning, I really got a hang of the metro system because I had to figure out how to board the Shinkansen, which is the speed bullet train, which wasn't too bad. Honestly, their whole like metro system is really straightforward. But yeah, I was so excited to board the Shinkansen. I saw Mount Fuji from far away. Yeah, and then I arrived in Kyoto. First thing I saw was the tower. And believe it or not, I was carrying my luggage this whole time. But still, I walked the philosopher's path. By the time I got back to the train, I was super dehydrated. So I tried figuring out this vending machine, which apparently I was having a hard time figuring that out. I continued strolling through the neighborhoods in Kyoto. And I was afraid I was going to run out of storage because I kept taking videos of the architecture. And then I arrived at Nishiki Market, which I heard is pretty popular. I came across a store that was selling Japanese blue denim, which I was highly intrigued, but also it was way out of my budget. But yeah, Nishiki Market was really popping. I tried to get some ramen, but it was crazy packed. The wait time was insane, so I ended up going to McDonald's. Then after that, I checked in at the Ryokan. I wanted that traditional experience, you know? The next day I got up early and headed over to Fushimi Inari, which I was not prepared for. You need to bring multiple water bottles with you if you're going to be going on this thing, because yeah, I did not expect it to be that much of a hike. But also this was a really cool experience and the nature was amazing. The view, once you get like halfway up there, is really cool. I don't know how the view looks all the way at the top because I didn't really go there. But yeah, I ended up getting lost actually. But funny enough, I ran into some bamboo groves, which I was planning on doing that next. So yeah, I ended up finding civilization, got a waffle. These things are amazing. Then I came across this mochi stand, which I'm a mochi stan, so I got some mochi. I'm telling you, this whole trip I was just eating a bunch of snacks. I wasn't actually eating any real food. I tried this crab stick, which it was alright. I don't know why I'm kind of capping over here, acting like I really liked it. It was okay. But this right here, this was real good. I would 10 out of 10 do that again. But yeah, after indulging in a bunch of snacks, I started heading over to the Arashiyama Bamboo Grove, which this place was really crowded. But once you walk past the bamboo grove, it kind of gets a little bit more chill and the views are crazy. The gardening is top tier. I did the green tea ceremony, which was a vibe, and I love green tea, so that was cool. But after that, I started heading over to the Kyoto Imperial Palace, but I got sidetracked and got some ice cream and also stopped by a manga anime store. And I forgot how long the walk was, but it was probably like 30-minute walk. And after entering, I realized you can't actually go inside the buildings. They don't allow that. So you just kind of like walk around and check out the buildings from kind of like a distance. Still really nice though. Through the red doors, you can see the main building. And if you go around that, there's a beautiful garden area, which was definitely my favorite part of the whole palace. After I was done with the palace, I started strolling through Kyoto even more, and I stopped at this fine dining place called Hafu. My reason for stopping here was because my brother actually messaged me and was like, hey, I'll pay you to try Wagyu beef for the first time. So naturally, I took him up on that offer and I got the dinner course. This was honestly quite the experience. I've never fine dined in my life. So doing it here in Kyoto, trying Wagyu beef, which it was fire, highly recommend it. When it was done, I went back to my accommodation, and then the next day I started heading over to Osaka. However, when I got off the train, I forgot my bag that had my passport still on the train. So at this point I was freaking out, and I went to multiple police stations in attempts to locate where my bag might have been. I had to call JR support, wait forever, talk to them, try to figure out where my bag might be. Literally after a day and a half of just going to different police stations and different train stations trying to figure out where my bag might be. And after talking to JR support for the 100th time, they let me know that my bag is actually in Maibara station, so I took an hour and a half train ride there. And along the way I got snacks, because I had to de-stress, you know. Anyways, thankfully it was there, sure enough, and I headed back over to Osaka to actually enjoy it this time. Now that everything was back to normal, I continued with my itinerary and headed over to the Osaka castle. Immediately upon looking at the castle, I noticed the high walls and the water barrier. For this castle, I was really excited to go inside. But before that, I went and stopped at the garden. And I was actually kind of surprised at the garden because it didn't seem like a garden, and it also just seemed like a park rather than a garden, honestly. But still, it had an amazing view of the castle, so it was worth the money. But yeah, after that, I started actually making my way to the castle, and I went inside, and I was kind of let down because it was more of like a museum vibe. But you get to go up to the top of the castle, and you get a view of Osaka, which was well worth it. My only critique about this whole castle was the inside didn't actually look like what I thought it was going to look like. But anyways, the next day I headed over to Shinsekai, which has just a bunch of like game places and restaurants and stuff. And I stopped at this candy store, which it had a whole bunch of like cheap candy. But I was actually hungry, so I started walking around trying to find a place to eat. And then I remembered this place that I've seen a lot of videos about, where you can catch your own fish and cook it. It was alright. I ended up getting takoyaki as well. And then at nighttime, this place was really cool because all the lights and everything. I stopped by this archery game place where initially I was pretty bad, but then I got pretty good. And since I hit the target 2 times out of 5, they gave me like 2 little snacks. It was cool, it was yummy. I didn't do any shopping, but I really wanted these jackets. Then I was pretty tired for the day, so then I got some water from the vending machine and called it a night. The next day was pretty rainy, so I had to find something to do. So I ended up going to the Osaka Aquarium. I got my ticket, which was low-key kind of expensive. But yeah, then I made my way over to the food court because I was starving. I got yakisoba, which it was okay, honestly. And since my reservation wasn't until like 2:30, I ended up getting some ice cream as well. And once it was time for me to go inside the aquarium, I took a whole bunch of video. And yeah, I really like how they lay out the aquarium. It was really packed too, by the way. I took some pretty cool video, which I can't wait to edit. But I'll stop talking, I'll let you guys enjoy all the video. After the aquarium, I headed over to Downtown Street, and I tried these candied strawberry or fruits for the first time, saw Pikachu on a vending machine, and got to try Kobe beef. I really enjoyed the nightlife in Osaka. There was a lot of cool signs that you can take photos by, and just a really fun time exploring. I tried this for the first time, and it was alright. I felt like it would have been really good with some honey. And I know I'm pathetic, but I went and got McDonald's again. And then back at the room that I was staying at, I tried all the candies that I got ready for bed. The next day, grabbed my stuff, made sure I had my stuff, got on the train, tried the lunch boxes, and made my way over to Mount Fuji area. Once I was in the area, there wasn't really any trains to take. I had to take the buses. But I was making my way over to Sheraito Falls, I think that's what it was. Can't remember how to pronounce that, but yeah, it was really beautiful. And it was pretty misty and kind of foggy day, but it really added to the vibe. I was really excited to take video of this place. But after I was done with that, I realized that all the buses stopped coming after 5, and I finished at like 5:30. So I was tired as hell because I had to walk for like 3 hours. Thankfully, I ended up making it to my hotel, got some rest, and then the next morning, got ready to head out and explore again. I chose my hotel because it was close by a lake with a good view of Mount Fuji, but unfortunately it was really cloudy, so I didn't get to see Mount Fuji from the lake. Regardless though, the views were really nice, so I enjoyed it and took lots of video here as well. Thinking back on it, this day was actually really peaceful, and I really enjoyed the udon that I got. I looked up on Google Maps things to do in the area, and there was a small pond that actually I wanted to visit, which was called Wakuike. And there's an amazing town here. They were selling all types of stuff. I ended up getting a lot of food from here, just from different vendors here and there. I was tempted to get the dango, so I got it. There was also a place selling these barbecue skewers, which was fire. Then I made it to where I was trying to go, and yeah, the views and sights here are amazing. If you're ever planning on coming to Mount Fuji area, definitely go here. But after my stay in the Mount Fuji area, I got on a bus heading back to Tokyo. I really enjoyed the views along the way, and there was a bunch of cool tunnels that we passed through. Once I was in Tokyo, I made it over to Roppongi, where I went to the Tokyo Roppongi Sky Deck, which it was cool because it offered a different perspective of Tokyo. After that, I headed to Mori Art Museum, and they had a lot of cool art pieces here. After the art museum, I headed over to Ginza. Ginza was really cool. There was a lot of cool buildings here and a lot of cool stores as well. The stores were top tier. Then at nighttime, I went to go see the Tokyo Red Tower. Then the next day, it was really rainy, so I had to find an indoor activity to do. So I went to Sunshine City, which this place was awesome. You should go. It's a huge mall, and they have a whole bunch of cool shops, a bunch of cool places to eat. I did a lot of shopping here and spent a good amount of money. Also, I didn't know Muji sold snacks, so I got some snacks. And I can't remember what floor I was on, but at one point it was just strictly Pokemon things, which I'm not complaining, it was really cool. Then after seeing all the Pokemon stuff, I stopped at the Pikachu Sweets Cafe again, and actually got something this time. Pretty much this whole floor was just full of like anime stores and whatnot. I stopped by the One Piece store and that was really cool, but I didn't get anything. Then I stopped at the capsule toy store and got some cool capsules. I tried to control myself with how much I bought. I got super lucky and got a Gengar ring, which I ended up wearing for the rest of the day. And then I headed over to this ice cream place, which I heard is really good, so I tried it. Stopped at an arcade and played a little. It was still rainy and I was hungry, so I went and got some ramen for the first time. This experience was really cool because it was pretty isolated. I always heard about these, but the ramen was kind of subpar. I actually wasn't a big fan. And at this point in Tokyo, it was pouring outside. So I got on the train and I went to Shinjuku area to go inside the Kabuchiko Tower, which has a whole bunch of arcade games and generally just a really cool place to check out. Then the rain started letting up and I went over to this photo booth area, which I really wanted to try, and yeah, it's ridiculous. The next day I headed over to Akihabara, which is very famously known for its anime and gaming. Everybody here was really good at gaming, and it took me a minute to decide what game I wanted to play, but I ended up going with Initial D race car game. I'm usually pretty good at those. Then the weather really let up and it looked beautiful, so I headed over to Shibuya to take some cool photos at the Shibuya crossings. Once again, I stopped at a capsule toy store and got some cool capsule toys. Then I went around the Shibuya area, stopped at IKEA and had some cheap food there. After that, I headed over to Harajuku and checked out this place during the daytime, and it was amazing. So many cool stores here and a lot of cool food places. Once again, I stopped at a capsule toy store. And once again, tried the candied strawberries. And once again, also stopped at a photo booth and took some photos here. Then I headed over to do some karaoke, and it was a vibe. I always wanted to try this, and even though I'm not that good at singing, it was still really fun. Then me and my friend put in a reservation for Kura Sushi, and it was a long wait, so we ended up walking around Harajuku. And if you don't know, Harajuku is really known for their fashion. We also stopped at Omotesando, which is also known for fashion. Stopped at IKEA and got some little things to eat. And headed up to this rooftop where it was an amazing view. Then I came across this sweet potato dessert place, which I really wanted to try. I got a video of them pulling the sweet potato onto the ice cream. If you can put this in your itinerary, definitely try this place out because it was fire. I wish I could try it again. But after that, headed back over to Kura Sushi and had a lot of sushi for pretty cheap. So definitely put this in your plans as well. They have this system where if you buy a certain amount of sushi, I think it was like after like 5 sushis, you get like a chance to win a prize. And I actually ended up winning a prize. And I got a cool little eraser. Then after that, we wanted something sweet, so we went to a konbini and we got some ice cream / smoothies. The next day I got up, headed to Omotesando in order to try the cool little fluffy pancake place. I think it was called Happy Place Pancakes. And since I got there like right when it opened, I didn't really have to put a reservation. I just had to write my name down, but they ended up taking me in like really quickly. After that, I strolled through the neighborhood of Omotesando, and yeah, just beautiful views all around. Stopped in Shibuya, went to the Disney store. The Disney store was really cool. I feel like my nieces would have loved this place. But then after that, yeah, I walked around even more in Shibuya and stopped at IKEA and got some ice cream again. By this time, I had to get ready to go to the airport to leave, so I stopped where the cherry blossoms usually would have been. But of course, it wasn't the season, so I said my goodbyes to Tokyo and got on the metro to go back over to the airport and get ready for my flight back to America. I had to remember to return my pocket Wi-Fi, which if you're ever in Japan, don't get a pocket Wi-Fi. Just get an eSIM, you'll save money. But yeah, I boarded my plane and was ready for a long flight back. I almost missed my flight to Kansas City, which is my hometown. But thankfully I made it back, and at this point I was feeling pretty sad that I was back in my hometown and not in Japan anymore. But hopefully I get to go back out there again. Anyways, peace.